A King's Confession. My name is T'Challa, son of T'Chaka, King of Wakanda, the Black Panther. These are titles, labels the world gives you. They are heavy. They are like a fine cloak made of stone. You wear it, and everyone admires the way it is cut, the strength of the material, but only you can feel its weight on your shoulders. Only you know how it restricts your every move. I speak to you now not as a king, or a hero, or a symbol. I speak to you as the man who carries that weight. Because I need you to understand. I need someone to understand. I grew up in paradise. A paradise hidden from the world. Wakanda. When you are a child, you do not question the walls of your home. You only know the warmth inside. I saw a land of impossible beauty, towers of glass and vibranium that touched the sky, yet they were woven into the jungle as if they had grown there. I saw technology that could heal any wound, solve any problem. I saw people who were strong, proud, and safe. This was the gift of my ancestors, the gift of the Panther. My father was my Sunday. He was everything. King T'Chaka the Great. His voice was calm, but it held the power of 1,000 warriors. He taught me about our history, about Bashenga, the first Panther, who saw the vibranium meteor fall from the sky. He taught me about our duty, to protect the vibranium, to protect our people, to protect our way of life. Protect. That was the first word I learned to understand. We protected our home by hiding it. We built a shield around our paradise, a technological illusion. We let the world believe we were a nation of poor farmers. While we had the power to change the course of human history, we watched. We watched nations tear each other apart. We watched famine and disease. We watched, and we did nothing. My father would tell me, the world is not ready for Wakanda. Their greed would be a poison. To reveal ourselves would be to invite war. To protect our people, we must remain in the shadows. And I believed him. It was the only truth I knew. Why would you open the door of your home to a world of wolves? It seemed so simple, so right. But even in paradise, you can feel a chill. I would look at the star maps in our labs. I would see the world beyond our borders. And I would wonder, is a life lived in a perfect cage still a life? Is a heart that feels no pain truly a heart? I trained every day to be the Panther, to be king. I learned the ways of the warrior, the mind of the strategist, the heart of the statesman. I was prepared for the what. I was not prepared for the when or the how. I was in Vienna when my world ended. My father was speaking to the United Nations. He was speaking of peace, of understanding, and then fire and noise. And a world that turned to smoke and dust. I remember running. I remember the feeling of the floor shaking. But most of all, I remember the silence that came after. The silence where my father's voice used to be. I found him in the rubble, and the sun went out in my life. In that moment, I was not a prince. I was just a son who had lost his father. The grief, it is a hollow thing. It hollows you out from the inside until you are nothing but an echo. And into that empty space, a new feeling rushed in. Rage. It was pure. It was clean. It was simple. They showed me a face on a screen. A man named Helmut Zemo. They said he was the one. And I had a purpose. Vengeance. It was a fire that burned away the grief. It gave me a direction, a target. I went home to claim my title. I drank the heart-shaped hug. It is a strange feeling. The world peels away. You fall into darkness, a place between life and death. The Ancestral Plane. I saw my father there. He stood, proud and strong, as I always remembered him. He told me I was ready. He told me to be a good king. But his words felt distant. I was not there for guidance. I was there for permission. I wanted him to tell me it was right to hunt the man who did this. And in his eyes, I saw what I wanted to see. I put on the suit, the Panther habit. It is more than armor. It is a second skin. It is the spirit of my ancestors given form. When you wear it, you feel the power of the Panther god. Bast. You feel the strength of every panther who came before you, and you feel alone because the man inside disappears. There is only the mission. My mission was Zemo. I hunted him across the world. I was relentless. I was the predator. He was the prey. I did not care about the consequences. I did not care about the politics. I cared only about the moment I would have my hands around his throat. I finally cornered him in a cold, broken place in the middle of a snowy wasteland. He was waiting for me. I was ready to end him, to fulfill my promise to my father. And then he told me the truth. He did not kill my father. He only used the attack to cover his own plans. His family had been killed in Sokovia, killed by the heroes the world so admired. He was a man hollowed out by grief, just like me. He had filled his own emptiness with vengeance. I looked at him, this broken man, and I saw myself. I saw the same fire in his eyes, the same rage that had consumed me. And I saw where that path ended, in an empty room, with more blood on your hands, but the same hole in your heart. Vengeance had not healed him. It had only destroyed him, and it would destroy me too. My father's voice echoed in my mind, not the ancestor, but the man who taught me that a king leads with his head, not with his fist. That mercy is a sign of strength, not weakness. I stopped. I put down my claws. I chose not to kill him. I chose to break the cycle. In that moment, I thought I had learned the hardest lesson of being a king. I thought I had faced my greatest test. I was wrong. The greatest tests do not come from our enemies. They come from our own secrets, our own mistakes. I returned to Wakanda. I was the king. I had proven myself. I was ready to lead my people in the way my father had. In isolation, in safety. And then he came, a man from our past, a ghost. His name was Njadaka, but the world knew him as Eric Killmonger. He was an American soldier, a killer, but he was more than that. He was my cousin, my blood. My father, the great T'Chaka, had a brother, N'Jobu. He had sent him to America as a war dog, a spy. But my uncle saw the suffering of our people around the world. He saw the injustice, and he believed Wakanda's power should be used to free them. He wanted to share our technology, our weapons. My father saw this as betrayal. He confronted him. There was a fight, an accident, and my father killed his own brother. And then he did something worse. He left my uncle's son, a small boy, alone in a foreign city with a dead father. He left him to grow up with nothing but pain and a story of a paradise he could never reach. He erased the truth. He lied to me, to our people, to protect the throne, to protect our image of him. Eric grew up in a world that hated him for the color of his skin. He fought for a country that did not love him. He became a weapon, an expert in tearing down governments, in creating chaos, and all the while, he dreamed of Wakanda, not as a home, but as an instrument of vengeance. He carried all the pain of the outside world in his heart. He came to our border and he challenged me for the throne. By our ancient laws, I had to accept. We fought at the Warrior Falls. I looked into his eyes. I did not see a stranger. I saw the son my father had abandoned. I saw the truth of our lie. I saw a rage that made my own look like a child's tantrum. He had been forged in the fire of real suffering. I had been raised in a golden palace. He defeated me. He broke me. And he threw me from the waterfall. I should have died. The world believed I had. And for a time, so did I. To lose the throne is one thing. To lose the faith of your people is another. But to lie there, broken, and realize your entire life, your father's legacy, was built on a foundation of lies. That is a pain I cannot describe. Everything I believed was shattered. My father was not perfect. Wakanda was not perfect. Our protection was a lie. Our peace was paid for by the suffering of others. Paid for by the abandonment of a child. Our child, Killmonger, became king. He took the heart-shaped herb. He ordered our vibranium weapons to be shipped across the world. He wanted to start a global war, an uprising. He wanted to burn the world down, and from the ashes, build an empire. He was wrong. His methods were brutal. His heart was filled with hate. But he was not wrong about everything. It was not wrong that we had turned our backs on the world. It was not wrong that we had a duty to our brothers and sisters who were suffering. It was our creation. His rage was a fire we had lit. His pain was a wound my father had inflicted. I was saved, healed by a tribe that had rejected my rule. I returned. I had to, not just to reclaim my throne, but to save Wakanda from its own soul. The fight that followed, it was a civil war, brother against brother, sister against sister. It was the sound of our perfect nation tearing itself apart, all because of one secret, one lie, told long ago. I faced him again, in the heart of the vibranium mound, panther against panther, king against king, cousin against cousin. It was not a fight of good versus evil. It was a fight of two ideas. My father's idea of protection through isolation, and his son's idea of power through domination. Both were flawed. Both were born of fear. I had to stop him. I won, but I do not call it a victory. In his final moments, I carried him out to watch the sunset over Wakanda. The sunset he had only ever heard about in stories. He looked at the beauty of the home he had never had. I told him we could heal him, we could save him, and he said to me, "Why? So you can lock me up? No, just bury me in the ocean with my ancestors who jumped from the ships because they knew death was better than bondage." And he took his own life. He chose death over a cage, even a golden one. I sit here now, and his words are always with me. He was my enemy. He tried to kill me. He would have destroyed the world, and I miss him. I miss the man he could have been. I mourn the boy who was left alone. I regret that I was not the one to find him, to bring him home, to heal his pain instead of fighting his rage. His death taught me the final lesson. My father was wrong to hide. Eric was wrong to want to conquer. Both were building walls, one around a nation, one around his heart. My father used to say, in times of crisis, the wise build bridges, while the foolish build barriers. He knew the words, but he did not live by them. His fear built the highest barrier of all. I could not let that be his only legacy. I could not let that be my future. So I made a choice, the most important choice of my life. I went before the United Nations, the same place my father died, and I told them the truth. I opened Wakanda to the world. I chose to build a bridge. My advisors told me I was a fool, that the world would try to take what we have, that it would lead to war. Perhaps they are right. It is a risk, but the risk of doing nothing is greater. The cost of our silence was a boy named Njadeka. How many more were out there? To be a king is not to be perfect. It is to learn from the mistakes of your father. It is to carry the weight of his choices and to choose to do better. So now you see me, T'Challa. I am not the fearless warrior of the stories. I am a man who is afraid every day, afraid of failing my people, afraid of not being as good as my father, afraid of being exactly like him. I am a son who loves a father whose legacy is complicated. I am a brother who treasures a sister so brilliant, I fear the world is not ready for her. I am a man who loves a woman, Nakia, who has always seen the world more clearly than I have. A woman I could have had a simple life with if I were not a king. And I am the king who looks at the faces of his people and sees hope, a hope that I must be worthy of. I wear the suit, I carry the title, I sit on the throne, but I do it now with my eyes open. I know that paradise is not a place you can hide, it is something you must build together, out in the open, with bridges, not walls. This is my confession. This is my justification. This is the truth of the man beneath the mask. I am T'Challa, and I am still learning how to be a king.